Oh, good morning. How are we doing? Old John, Twistleboro News here, Southern West Virginia. Got my little liberal comrade back here. He's to make sure that you know that I give him the liberals and socialists a fair chance or a fair conversation, and you know that it's not just a one-sided uh, news report or commentary. I mean, I look at him, and I say, well, he's one of them dreamers, goes to the beach, snowman, beach. Okay, that's about like these liberals and socialists. They're painting this picture of all this glorious stuff that's going to go on under socialism, and well, yeah. No, I was just watching the news this morning, and these reporters, man, these liberals, it's pitiful, literally pitiful. They said that Trump's already he's already in a spat, or I forget the word, a spat or a disruption or a fight or trade fight or something like this, and I'm going to the G7, and he hadn't even got off the jet. They'd already got it started on the reports that he was already into a scuffle with somebody, and he hadn't even got off the jet. He said he said they're fake news. That's what he calls them, fake news. And he's been calling them that, but it doesn't change. The reason that stuff continues is because people keep listening to them. Their ratings are falling, but still yet there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are still watching their garbage. And they're nothing but lying, scheming, cheating perverts. Your politicians, some of these reporters don't have a choice. They've done got themselves in trouble. They committed treason. They had raised their hands up against the American people, against the laws of this nation, against the Constitution, against basically everything this nation was formed on and under and by and for, and they raised up against it with treachery. They got themselves in trouble. If justice is served, a lot of these people should be put to down. They should be put to death. They committed themselves to it. These politicians, these liberal socialist politicians, these people up there need to be put to death for what they've done. You've got to realize that. But these reporters and stuff, they're in trouble, people. If the whole truth ever comes out, they've had to lick. And little by little, it's coming. It's coming. We already have enough evidence to put some of these politicians behind bars or hang them. And these Comey and McCabe and Clinton and this bunch of perverts, we've already got enough evidence on them to put them down. Clinton should have been put in jail 5 years ago. Or, yeah, that. I mean, they already got proof of that. But I'm saying right now, A.G. Barr, if he just sticks to his guns and shows true honor, a lot of these people in big trouble. They're in big trouble. Don't listen to these liberal, socialist newscasters. NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, West Virginia's Charleston Gazette, the Washington Post, and the list goes on and on and on. There's a bunch of them. People, the difference in conservative and liberal, it's a simple difference. It's easy to see and recognize. It's all in the agenda and attitude of the people. What they are willing to do to have their way. That's what it is. Conservative means to be more upfront, more pulled back, not loose, to be more moral, to be more godly, to be more upright, to act and move by truth and honor and facts. That's conservative. Liberal you can go to the Bible and find out what liberal means, or you can go somewhere else. Liberal is to be an exclusive attitude. You want to say forgiving, but it's not forgiving, it's exclusive. There's a difference. To be forgiving is to know there is a fault and then forgive that fault in order for the good to come, for an honorable end to come out of it, for resolving. But to be exclusive is to say, well, it doesn't matter. But it does matter. It matters a lot. It matters what's going to happen tomorrow. It matters what's going to happen to the people that are left under the attitude that you can look, smell, act, walk, and talk any way you want without consequences. That is a lie. That is nothing but just a bald-faced lie, as people call it, a bald-faced lie. You can't do that. You cannot do that. It'll last a little while, but sooner or later it's going to come to a head. All the lies, all the excuses that have been just pushed back and pushed back, like kicking the can down the road, sooner or later it has to come to a head. God said, I am the God that visits the iniquity of the fathers into the third and fourth generation. Hey, people, you're talking 60, 80 years down the road. The things, the excuses, the kicking the can down the road, somewhere the can's going to wedge up, or cans are they're going to ledge or get hung up, and they're going to pile up, and you're going to get to where you can't even get down the road. The road is blocked. So it has to be dealt with. That's what liberal excuses. Liberal attitude. That's what it does. It kicks the can down the road and say, well, it's all right. It's out of the way right now. It'll get down there. It's just like go out here, you throw, just keep throwing brush in the creek, in this little stream out here, or any stream. You just keep throwing brush and rose bushes and trees, just whatever you got, your garbage. And just throw it in the creek and say, well, it's out of my face. Hey, it's going to get somewhere down the road. It's going to lodge up against a tree root or a big rock or somebody's bridge going across to their home, and it's going to lodge up and it's going to build up and it's going to build up and build up. And then one day it's going to be running over the road. It's going to be washing your road out. It's going to wash their driveways out. It's going to cause trouble. That's what liberal thinking does. It kicks it down the road until one day there's no getting around it. And that's what these friggin' perverts are doing. They're pushing the problem down the road. Who knows? They may be saying, well, I may be dead and gone, and I don't have to worry about it. And it wouldn't surprise me to hear that come off their lips. After what I've seen and what the Bible says, it wouldn't surprise me a bit to find out that, well, I ain't going to have to deal with it. I ain't worried about it. It wouldn't surprise me a bit to hear them say that. Not one bit. Because I've seen some damnable, unforgivable excuses made by these people. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. Yeah, Trump's already in a feud with somebody. He hadn't even got off the plane to talk to anybody. I mean, to tell you the truth, these people are, so help me. They got more tails and garbage in them than Stephen King. It's pitiful, man. They could be Hollywood. They could be Hollywood screenwriters. It's pitiful, man. It really is. But you can't do that. You can't make excuses for everything and think it's going to be smoothed over and everything's going to be cool. There's many, many, many things going on in this nation that's been pushed back and kicked down the road and this and that and whatever, and it's coming to a head. Donald Trump trying to get us back to the founding of this nation, back into the thinking of our forefathers, back to where truth and honor sets the stage for an actual true fairness, for justice to come forward. And without justice, there is no true fair. True fair is a platform that's based upon respectful thinking, upon the regard that you give others, upon it's seeing that invisible boundary between you and your family that doesn't give you the right to lust for his family or her family or whatever. Doesn't give you the right to lust for the daughter or the son or whatever. There's an invisible boundary there. There's an invisible boundary that says you can't reach across there and steal your neighbor's rake. But see, that's all in the attitude. It's all in the thinking of the people. Liberal thinking is an excuse. I can do this because I don't think there's anything wrong. Why? Because that fair, that boundary of right and wrong, that true conscience leading has been erased within the liberal thinking. The boundaries have been erased. The excuses have been given. God spoke to me He spoke to me and showed me some things the last few years about what has went on politically, but it can be applied to anything, because there's patterns that take place. There's a pattern that can take place in my life at the same time it's taking in my place. It could be going on a huge scale within the government. It can be a pattern in your life, something taking place. It could be going on in you, but on a huger scale, it could be going on in the government. Creation is formed after pattern. Things just function that way. Things function that way, as much as sometimes we don't like it and we want to think, well, I like to do my own thing. I'll do it my way. But yet life is patterned. There's patterns to everything. There's a pattern to wood. There's a pattern to leaves. There's a pattern to stone. There's a pattern to this. Creation is full of pattern. But this stuff, people want to ignore it. They want to, they give themselves a liberal excuse. You go to the Bible, Isaiah 32, 5 through 8, especially in verse 8, it comes right out and talks about it. But 5, 6, and 7 leads up to it. The liberal excuse is to excuse something, and then those people give you excuse in order for you to for someone to stay in their place of recognition or power. Then they excuse this one, and in return excuse this one. He excused this, they excuse this, and it's just a pattern. It's a circle. The Bible says that the liberal, he devises liberal things, and by liberal things does he stand. He thinks up an excuse, and because of excuse given, he's kept in power or excused in order for his power to remain. And that's what's going on. These people, there's crimes, there's lies, there's shame, there's disgrace. We've had murders, we've had every damnable thing you'd imagine go on, and they're staying in power because people keep supporting them. They stay by. They ignore what they're doing, and they excuse. They give them that liberal, that ungodly, immoral excuse for what they're doing. Barack Obama lied time and time and time again. Hillary Clinton lied time and time and time again. James Comey lied. Andrew McCabe lied. Christopher Steele lied. And the names, man, they just pile up. And you got it's Don Lemon and it's CNN, and you got people, the whole friggin' bunch. The whole friggin' liberal socialist bunch is a mess. They're a literal screwed up mess. They should not get one vote in 2020. The American people, I pray, will wake up and snap out of this daze that they're in and say, God, what is this bunch of perverts trying to do to us? You know, and I don't judge them. I don't judge them as much as to condemn them as I just judge their actions. Because without I'm able to make a righteous judgment and judge their actions, they will be excused in it. And I cannot excuse what they're doing. I cannot excuse what these people have said and done. They have to be stopped. Listen, if they're not stopped, our children, our bloodlines will cry. They will have to deal with the attitudes of perverts in power. You want that kind of attitude? Go to Venezuela. You want that kind of attitude? Go to China. You want that kind of attitude? Go to Russia. You want that kind of attitude? Go to Islamic Iran. You want that kind of attitude? Go to one of these friggin' socialist acting countries. If you don't mind it, there's a bunch of them out there. There's a bunch of them out there, man, that don't bother them one bit to stick their butt in your face. They'll do it in a heartbeat to get what they want, man. They'll slap the cheeks of their butt down over your nose so fast it'll blow your mind. You want to live under that kind of stuff? Hey, go ahead, man. Pack your bags. I'll talk to my old buddy Don up there in the White House and see if we can't get you a travel ticket. Get you a one-way passport and let you go on out. Hey, we'll see if we can't get you an airplane ticket, man, and ship you on out of here. You don't want to live in free, godly, moral, just system of government to where people are actually respectful of your own individual rights and voice and choice and vote and everything. You don't like that stuff? Hey, give me time. I'll talk to Don and see if we can get you a plane ticket. See if I can't get a hold of him. He may not want to take time full with me, but, you know, I don't know. I'll see if I can get a hold of him. I'll write him a letter or something. I said, we'll offer him a plane ticket to just go ahead and just move their socialist butts right on out of here. How's that? You know, I hate to be sarcastic, but people, you're going to have to wake up. What's going on is not good. And it's not Donald Trump that's doing it. Donald Trump has just actually took a step back about 75 years in trying to pick our laws back up that actually were working to keep us free. He's trying to pick them laws back up and bring them up to where America can be free, that your voice is worth something. That your vote's worth. You want to know what your voice is worth and what it's like? You know, without backing up and picking up the leading of our forefathers, you want to know what your voice will be like? Let me tell you. Judge Roy Moore running for Senate. He was a judge, a federal judge, sitting on a bench in Alabama. They removed him off the bench because he had the 10 Commandments obelisk in front of his courtroom. They wanted to move it. He wouldn't move it, so a bunch of those perverts down there, those judges down there, they had him removed from the bench because he believed a lie was a lie. Because he believed that murder was murder. He believed it was wrong to kill. He believed it was wrong to lie. He believed it was wrong to steal. And he had this 10 Commandments on this obelisk in front of his courtroom. Well, they didn't like it. Well, there was people cried because they didn't like the thought that they couldn't lie. They didn't like the thought that they couldn't steal. They didn't like the thought that they couldn't commit adultery. They just didn't like that stuff. We want to be free. We want to be liberal. So they had him kicked off the bench. He eventually gets his thing back, and he gets back on the bench, and I think they had him moved off again. Or gets his appointment back as a judge, and I think he had him moved off again. But he decided he wants to run for Senate, so he runs for Senate as a conservative. But what happens? He starts getting attacked. Voices out of the past begin to speaking up, just like Kavanaugh, just like Trump, just like a bunch of others. But the problem is the voices and truth and facts don't coincide. They can't pull their little lies together. They can't pull their little stories together. They just don't add up. But the voices come to life. Voices come to life. They can't prove it. They cannot prove what they said. They couldn't prove it against Kavanaugh. They can't prove all of it against Trump. They couldn't prove it all against Judge Roy Moore. And it's become a pattern made by the liberals and socialists. They do not care to lie at all. They do it as a normal thing now, people. You've got to realize that. You've got to realize what this liberal attitude is. It's a deception. They believe as long as they get what they want in the end, and they got this fairy tale going. Do you remember the lie that Olaf was living in his mind? Oh, in summer, he's going down this path and whatever, and he's going down, he's headed for the beach or something. I don't know what all he's doing. But he goes down heading for the beach, and all of a sudden he runs up on this little puddle of water. He goes, something stuns him. Uh-oh. Puddle of water, sun, snowman. Okay? It was a lie. The little puddle of water jogged him, but yet it didn't take him out of his dream. And what is it? It's not Slim. What is the old hill jack? He said, I'm going to tell him. And the little princess to be or whatever said, you better not. Let him live his dream. He's all right. Let him live his dream. But now this is what I'm going to get back to tell you about your voice, your choice, your vote. There were people recorded telling we came from all over. They came from out of other states and come in there and voted Democrat from other states. Illegal votes. Actual illegal votes, man. They admitted to it. They admitted to it that they voted Democrat to try to keep conservative Judge Roy Moore out of office as a senator, U.S. State senator down there. They voted against him. And a federal judge, a black guy, I don't know his name, but a federal judge, Moore had applied to have a recount on the vote or a revote. And a federal judge said no. They had the proof that there was illegal votes. A witness, a man, one of them, a witness. We come from all over to vote. They had the proof, and yet the federal judge ruled no, there would not be another election, there would not be another vote, not another count. They had the proof. They had the proof. Listen, people, you better wake up. These perverts, and there's millions of them, and they're going to piss all over you. They're going to piss on your family. They're going to piss on your bloodline. They've got to be stopped. They have got to be stopped. Liberalism and socialism in America needs to be shut down. Shut down hard. Hard. If we don't show enough sense to stop them, one of these days our own families and bloodlines will say, you sorry piece of crap. Damn you, why did you turn this loose on us? They're going to look at us to want to know why it happened. Oh, we may be dead and gone in the grave and there's nothing but our old dried bones laying there or something or another, but it won't matter. Our families and our bloodlines will be ready to burn our pictures and just burn everything about the memory of us because we pissed on them. We let it go. We made excuses for them, for all the garbage that went on. It won't matter. Our name won't be nothing but a turd in their past. You know, a turd in their past, they look back and say, oh, I don't want to think about that. I don't even think about that being part of my bloodline. It's pitiful, people. It's a disgrace. The Democratic Party should not get one vote in 2020. And it's not all just Democrats either. There's some Republicans up there just as repugnant, just as ugly, just as vile. We had the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. There was charges could have been brought up against some representatives in the House of Representatives. Charges could have been brought against them. They had the evidence, the proof that and Paul Ryan wouldn't let it go forward. He wouldn't let it go forward. He handed Obama basically everything he wanted. He would not press the charges against these representatives that had broken House rules and stuff. They wouldn't press them. Donna Brazile handing Hillary Clinton answers to questions in a debate between Clinton and Trump, handing Hillary answers and stuff, the questions, so she could meditate on how she wanted the answers. Just cheated, just plain old cheated. Now Paul Ryan ends up on Fox News contributor. Donna Brazile ends up on a Fox News contributor. Fox News is they've done some sorry thing, and Andrew McCabe ends up on CNN contributor. He goes on CNN now. Andrew McCabe, he's hands in poop. Him and Comey and Schiff and Nadler and a bunch of these friggin' perverts holding up this liberal socialist attitude. You know, they could just cheat and scheme and lie their way and just manipulate the government and totally eradicate the American voting system. Oh, we don't want to eradicate it. We want to just do away with electoral college. They're perverts, people. They have proof now that Google actually played the game, and Trump actually got more votes than what they originally believed. Millions more. Google played a friggin' pervert game on it. Trump actually won bigger than what we first believed. That's what it adds up to. Trump won bigger than what we first believed. They need to go back. They need to go back to paper vote. They really do. They need to have proof, legible proof of who voted and how they voted. They need to have proof of it. We even found out, listen, that's better than the electronic, because the electronic we know was a screwed up mess. That's better than the electronic. But you know something else we know? We actually know for a fact right now that there have been ballots, boxes of ballots turned in. Come from nowhere. People, that is the liberal-socialist attitude. Let me tell you this. You think I'm just jacking my jaw? I'm not jacking my jaw, people. Listen to this. This is Isaiah, Old Testament Bible. Isaiah chapter 32, verses 5 through 8. Listen to it. Listen to what the Bible says liberal thinking, liberal agenda, liberal attitude does. Now listen to this. Listen. The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor shall the churl said to be bountiful. But now there's a reason. Why will they no longer be called liberal? Why will the churl not to be said bountiful? Said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Now, you're talking about a liberal. This is things that he does But for some reason, he will no longer be called liberal. That vile, lying, scheming, cheating, vulgar, whatever they do, they will no longer be called a liberal or a vile person. Now listen to me. And he says, for the vile person will speak villainy, his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, he'll utter error against the Lord, and to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The things, the dreams, the hopes, the desires, things that people need for their personal lives. I'm not talking about sexual ecstasies and millions of dollars and all this. I'm talking about the personal need of people, for the individual to be secure in their mind, to be content in their state, that they can actually have a place of peace in their personal being, in their life. Things that are actually needful for life as an individual, for that person to be content with who they are. That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about all this other stuff. The instruments of the churl are evil, the fool. The Bible says the churl is a fool. The instruments of the fool are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. The instruments of the churl, the fool, are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. Even when that person that is needing, even when that person that is hungry, even when that person that are in want, the fool, the churl, he does things or she does things that cause them to hurt. Even though they speak, even though the hurting, the needy, the wanting, even though they speak truthfully, honorably, the attitude of the fool, the attitude of the churl will cause them to hurt even more, even though they speak right. But the liberal deviseth liberal things. The liberal, listen, the liberal deviseth liberal things. The liberal will speak villainy. His heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, to utter error against truth and honor and justice, and things that are actually needed, that are actually upright and righteous and decent and holy. He will speak error against that which is clean, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, excuses. He deviseth excuses. The liberal deviseth excuses, and by excuses things shall he stand. Because of their excuse and the shames and atrocities and the crimes against society and mankind and individuals, and by the excuse of things made, shall he stand. Because he gives the pervert, if you will, the pervert on the street, he gives him an excuse for his actions, for his words, for his atrocities, for his shames, for his crimes. He gives excuses to the perversions on the street, and because he excuses them, they give him an excuse to stay in power. That's what it's talking about. Remember I told you the little vicious circle? Cheater excuses cheater, liar excuses liar, rapist excuses rapist, schemer excuses schemer. Yeah, just a circle. Just a circle. Just a circle. You know, I didn't just dream this stuff up, people. I didn't just dream this stuff up. Listen, people, these liberals, So help me, come November, they should not get one vote. They really shouldn't. Put my marker back in my Bible. God showed me that after Obama got into office on the second term. He showed me that. And I've had to refer back to it many times. I left my marker out. It makes it harder for me to find. You know, like I just wanted to grab it real quick. You church folk. You, those of you that say you know the Lord, or surely not. Surely you will not vote liberal. Surely you will not give them people your vote. Surely not. Those of you that claim to be moral and just, surely not. Surely not. Surely you will not give them your vote. The Democratic Party is a knotted up clump of shame right now. Like this. A knotted up clump of shame. They should not get a vote. Not one vote should they get in 2020. Not one. This is to me, this is way past. It's way past the unimaginable. It really is. I look at this and I look at these people's actions and their words and their attitude. I mean, people, that you even have people over there right now said they would rather have a recession. They would rather see the economy of this nation crash, burn. They would rather see it crash than for Donald Trump to keep his moral stance and his alignment with our forefathers. That's basically what they're saying. I would rather face financial crisis than to have somebody with push some honor, to push some decency, to push justice in my country again. That's what they're saying. I would rather face financial crisis than to have truth and honor and justice served in this nation. And you got those out there that say, "Oh God, we ain't saying that. We don't mean that. That's not what we want." That's their attitude. Bill Maher, the so-called comedian, I don't watch him, but I see reports on him or posts every now and then. Bill Maher says, "We need to have a recession to get Trump out of office." The perverts do not want to be separated from the things, the perversions, the obscurities, the absurdities that put them where they are. They love their shame. They love the false pride. They love the vulgarities. They love this. They love that. They do not want to be separated from it. The perversions that put them in power, that give them their platforms, that give them their voice, their status. They do not want to separate themselves from those perversions. Listen. You know what they say about a junk food junkie? You are what you eat. Well, he woke up with a ding dong by his head or some little stupid something. But, you know, they refuse to be separated from the perversions. Do you realize that after a while, the perversions own you? You do not own the perversions. They are not a convenience for you. But do you realize that after a while, that perversion will own you? It will be on your mind. It will be in your thoughts, that you will not escape from it. But you are the one, with the help of God, it'll be a righteous decision, a righteous direction. But you are the one that has to choose what is major in your life. You are the one that has to choose what direction your life is going. You're the one that has to make the choice. You make it with God and truth and honor and justice and righteousness through the blood of Jesus Christ. God will come in your life. He will help you keep that direction. But if you make it with the excuse that you're gonna do anything and everything, look, smell, act, walk, and talk the way you want, the devil will feed you anything you want till he gets you down the road. Listen, till he gets you down the road and it's too late and you realize that you are no longer choosing your direction. He will choose your direction for you. Satan will choose your direction for you. You no longer have that choice. That choice owns you. That choice owns you. It's the way it works. People, you know, Hillary and Barack and Joe Biden and Warren and all these other liberal, socialist, perverted thinkers. They call people like me conservative. They call us deplorables. Oh, I hate them deplorables. That deplorable is an ugly word, you know what I mean? Deplorable says you can't look, smell, act, walk, and talk any way you want. That deplorable says there's set guidelines. I don't like that. I want to be my own person. Me says my own way. That's what it amounts to, people. Perverts and their perversions, they want their way, irregardless of who has to foot the bill for it. Irregardless who has to foot the bill for that. I'll be honest with you. That judge down there that ruled against Judge Roy Moore there in Alabama, after all that evidence that there were false votes, illegal votes and stuff cast, and that judge ruled against him, that judge should have been shot. He should have been taken out on the street in front of international television and shot. He really should have. He should have been taken out and shot on television. Them knowing the facts, the truth, that there was actually a cheating done, and he refused to correct it. That judge refused to correct it. And he's not the only one. There's other judges. There's politicians. There's newscasters. There's even teachers and professors. There's governors. There's lawyers. There's prosecuting attorneys. They're in all different levels. This liberal socialist excuse of perversion. I've told you before. I'm going to tell you again. Try to get off here. Listen. If this junk is not stopped, the day will come, America will be in civil war. And it won't be civil war like you see in Afghanistan and Venezuela and China. Americans are armed. Millions of us are armed. It won't be civil war like you see in these other countries. This will be war. But you know what's going to happen? If this is not stopped, you'll have foreign soldiers on our soil marching down the streets of this nation. Your august freedom and liberty country will be gone. Poof, gone. Because liberal socialist thinking would not do right. Your freedoms and liberties will be gone. The games will be over. Some friggin' deviant up there will kick you in the face if you open your mouth. The garbage has to be stopped now before it gets gone too far. It's got to be stopped. They need to be shut down. They need to be shut down hard. What is today? 26th? Let's see, this is what is today? See, my birthday was last Tuesday. That was the 20th. Today's Monday. That's the 26th. 26th August 2019. Sunny out here. Or trying to be sunny anyway. I got 2 chestnut trees out in my front yard. One of them on the left side of the porch, looking off the front yard, the front porch. One of them has got worms on it. They look a whole lot like what we call the atoggle worm, or the bean tree worm, you know, that people fish with. Pretty good bait, pretty fair. But they're about this long. The biggest ones are about this long. Usually toggle worms can get, you know, about like this. But they're black with yellow stripes, black stripes like going down their back and stuff. And they're a whole lot similar to the toggle worm, but they're different. But I've never seen a toggle worm eat the leaves on a chestnut tree. But these worms are covering this chestnut tree up. And I don't want to spray it because I'll be wanting to get chestnuts off of it here in just a few weeks. I don't want to spray all over my nuts. I got another tree over here on the right hand side. I don't see any worms on it. It usually has a better chestnut anyway, but you know, I don't want to spray no nuts or trees, you know, I'm getting ready to get fruit off of them, okay? But here we are. Donald Trump's already in feud with somebody. And he hadn't even got off the plane. The liberals, the socialists, people, they're spewing rot. They're spewing sewage. They're spewing just pure, ugly disgrace. Trying to turn this nation away from truth and honor again. Willing to watch the economy of the nation go under. Just so they can stay on this rot path, this disgrace path, this New York City sewage avenue. I've said it, you know, there's more poop going through these liberals and socialists than the New York City sewage system has. It's pitiful. It's pitiful what these people are doing. Literally pitiful. But what makes it sad, what really makes it sad and is heart-wrenching, is the fact that there are millions of people will sit and listen to them because they excuse the perversions of their lives. It's sad. It really is. It's sad. Well, I hope you can find grace and favor in God's eyes and and just get off the poop path. You know, that's all. I don't know any other way to tell you. Just get off the poop path. Have a good one.